Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Rich, thank you for your decades of service. Your experience at the FTC was under a Democratic chair, yet I appreciate your dedication to bipartisan consensus when possible, which had been the Commission's tradition. Yesterday, Mr. Bill Rackus and I sent a letter to FTC Chairwoman Kahn regarding the FTC's current direction. It expresses concern with the Commission's use of zombie voting to pass rules and the recent decision to delete legitimate business activity from the FTC mission statement. Given the number of bills before us, I think it's essential that we find a realistic enforcement balance. We need to know how the Commission would manage all these competing priorities without hurting legitimate business activity. This alarming mission statement change happened while the Build Back Better Act is pending in the Senate. That legislation includes an amendment to the FTC Act, which would give the Commission broad first offense penalty authority. How expansive is this proposed authority? Is there any commercial activity or sector of the economy that it wouldn't apply to?
The civil penalty provision in the Build Back Better Act, as I read it, would apply to anything covered by the FTC Act, unfair or deceptive practices under the FTC Act. So the FTC does lack jurisdiction over certain sectors of the marketplace, banks, nonprofits, certain functions of common carriers, but otherwise, as I understand the provision, if it were to pass, it would apply across wide swaths of the marketplace.
Thank you. Regarding the proposed new authorities, am I correct? This only deals with civil penalties and not remedies like disgorgement or restitution.
That's right. Civil penalties only.
During your FTC service, was the Commission able to predict how many violations would occur each year?
No.
That's in line with our experience. The FTC cannot predict who's going to break the law. I would note we supported and enacted such civil penalty authority targeting COVID-19 scams, and the Congressional Budget Office reported back that such revenues were insignificant over the 2021 to 2030 period. This might be a basic question, but if all companies are following the law, there's no violation of the FTC Act, and thus revenue is not generated via enforcement actions, correct?
Yes, although I've never seen a situation where all companies are not violating the law.
Given how broad the authority is and what we know of recent FTC changes and actions, I worry about the lack of regulatory certainty for small businesses. They, after all, are not experts like you on what protections they may have under the FTC Act. Is it fair to say that they may not have the resources or the sophistication to manage a review by the FTC of their operations?
Yes, but I'm not to be a broken record, but I think Congress can fix this problem by passing a privacy law that does provide standards.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you answering those questions and providing the insight. And I do thank all the witnesses for being here. I want to note that we have incorporated first offense penalty authority in our comprehensive privacy and data security legislation, the Control Our Data Act, as a means of policy enforcement. And I urge this committee to take action. I yield back.